I can't find my base. Where is it? Oh my god, I'm gonna die! Oh, how did I just survive that? Welcome back, Legendary Potato here, and today I'm going to show you guys how you could probably never die in Minecraft. Just using these simple tricks, I'm going to show you guys how to do it in today's video. Hope you guys will enjoy the video. Of course, if you do, make sure you do leave a like on. But let's get right into it here. So what I have here is this very, very scary looking ravine. So as you can see, it's quite a far distance down. And so let's say you're in this situation where you're falling down the ravine and you're about to fall and plummet to your death. And so let's say we're about here. And so what can we do to survive this sort of situation? And there's a lot of things we can do in order to not die in this ravine in this situation. So let's talk about what those could be in today's video. If you do like it, make sure you do leave a like. And so let's get into the first one here. So what we're going to do is we're going to give ourselves a water bucket. This one's a very popular method, but what we can do is we can place the water right before we fall down to the bottom. It's even easier if you're in an offline game, then you can pretty much pause buffer it and kind of pause until you're within range of it. But we're going to try and do this first try. We'll see exactly what happens. So let's say we're falling. What we're going to try and do is we're going to spam click the water bucket until we fall. And if we do this just right, as you can see, there we go. So we got a first try. That was actually really impressive. We can actually fall and completely reduce the damage or completely ignore the damage by using a water bucket. And so you could fall, survive, and you won't die in the game. So pretty cool stuff there. You can survive the damage by using a water bucket. Pretty cool stuff there. So let's move on to the next one here, which we're going to be using a minecart for this trick. So I showed this off in another video, but I think this one's cool and worth mentioning anyways. So what we're going to do, let's say we have a minecart, whether at the top, at the bottom, or if we're falling in a minecart, what we can do is we can use the minecart to completely reduce the fall damage. So let's go into survival here. Let's see if we can do this trick. So these are all kind of precise tricks, but with a little bit of practice, you can get them. So we're going to knock this minecart off the cliff here, and so you can pretty much do it. If you do it just right, I went way too early just then, but if you do the trick just right, then you'll be able to, of course, survive, which is very helpful for a situation where you're pretty much near death. So let's go back over to the ravine over here. We'll try it one more time. But basically, if you jump out of the minecart at just the right time, you'll be able to survive because of the fact that when you jump out, you reset your momentum, which is pretty much what the game stores to decide. Oh, I died. Yeah, it's very precise, very difficult, but if you jump out early, you can try and catch the minecart again when you fall. And when you do that, similar to the water bucket trick, if you do that, it would actually work very well. So let me show you guys that method as well. See, there's actually 2 minecarts down there now, so very similar to before. You can catch the minecart, but of course, if you're in a minecart, you can also jump out of the minecart, which is very helpful. So I'm going to set my world spawn point up to here as well, just so I don't have to keep flying over when I die. So world spawn point, player spawn point. Okay. So I'll do it one more time just to demonstrate here. If we can get this trick, that'd be really cool. But like I've said, it's not the easiest thing in the world. But yeah, so as you can see, I survived. I would have died in that case, but I jumped a little bit early, but I still reduced the damage enough just to survive. So that's good enough for me. That's good enough to survive. So takes a little bit of practice. I'm not the greatest at that one. I did the water bucket first try. Hey, you gotta give me credit for that. We're doing this all in one take, of course. So let's continue on to the next one here. This one's going to involve ladders and stuff, or ladders and vines for that matter. And so what we can do, we can have ladders, we can have vines. This one's going to be very difficult. I'll show you guys an easy method first. So let's say we have ladders down here at the bottom for whatever reason. So let's say you're in a situation where you have ladders somewhere. What you could do is you can try and survive by grabbing the ladder right before you hit the bottom. So let's see if we can hit this. Oh no, we were way off. But basically what you can do, if you grab the ladder right before you hit the bottom, you'll actually start climbing. I'm very scared to get too close to it. I think I'm going to try one more time here. Ooh, I was way off. But yes, so what you could do, you can grab the ladder here. Where's that? Right there. Okay, so we'll try it here. There we go, we got the trick. There we go. So as you can see, you can grab the ladders right before you hit the bottom. And this one's very difficult to perform, but if you happen to have ladders right before you fall down, you can do it. Same thing with vines as well. You can climb vines in the same sort of way, just kind of like that. But it's obviously not very easy because the hitbox is very a little awkward to hit, so it is a little difficult. But you can also do this while falling. So if you have ladders in your inventory, you can do the same sort of thing, where you can do it like that and try and catch it. I'm not going to try and do that one. That one's a little too difficult. But if you're good enough and you can do it, then, you know, credits to you. But of course, if there's ladders at the bottom, you can do what I just did. Very difficult to do, of course. So this next one's going to use slime blocks. This one's a pretty simple one. We'll see if I mess this one up or not. But basically, what you can do, if you have slime blocks in your inventory, which are not too hard to get, obviously you need just 9 slime balls, you can have a slime block in your inventory. So if you're falling, you could place this slime block, and this will reduce the damage and also make you bounce up. So be a little bit careful. You can also crouch or hold the A button and you'll be just fine. But we're going to spam click it, and as you can see, we got it there. Not too hard to do, but if you do that, get off. You don't want to crouch when you place it, but afterwards, if you just hold A or something, then you'll be good. But yes, as you can see, you can use the slime block and jump down quite easily. That one's not very hard to do, but it is still possible to mess it up. So I'll do it one more time just to show off that I'm that good at this game. So let's go ahead and do it. See, okay, I guess I was getting a little bit confident there, but you get the idea, of course. Jump down on the slime block, and you won't ever die, or I guess you could, but it'll reduce the damage. So this next one is going to involve a horse. Or I guess it could also involve a pig or anything else you can ride in the game. So what we're going to do, we're going to spawn a horse, which will be right there. You can also work on donkeys or whatever else you got, of course. But what we're going to do, we're going to spawn a horse right there. It has to be a horse that we can ride. So preferably this one. Doesn't even have to be tamed. You don't even have to tame the horse. But of course, it is a little bit easier if it's tamed. So let's go ahead and tame it real quick. There you go. So it only took 3 tries there. But it doesn't have to be tamed. I just tamed it in this case just so it's a little better off. But what we can do, similar to how we did the minecarts before, we jump on the horse and we try and ride the horse as we're falling, and it completely gets rid of your momentum. So as you can see there, I jumped on the horse, got a first try, so I fell and caught it and didn't die. So very helpful trick, using the horses to actually not take the fall damage, which is very helpful. So this is a very weird situation. If you happen to be in a situation where you're falling and there's horses at the bottom, this would work. Or if there's any sort of situation like that, pretty good, right? But you could also do the same thing. If you're riding a horse, then you can also have the horse take all the fall damage and you won't take any. So let's say you're riding a horse off a cliff for whatever reason you might be doing that for. So let's go ahead and do this. So let's say you're doing this, right? And so you're on the horse, everything's all good there. So works as well. You'll still take fall damage, but you'll survive and the horse will take damage, which is okay there. But let's continue on to the next one, which is going to be the lava and fire pit. So this is a lava pit right over here. But if you happen to have fire resistance, then you can quickly put on some fire resistance and you'll be okay. So I'll do a situation where you're prepared for the fire resistance. You have it, you pretty much already have it on, and what you can do is you can do it like this. I'll do one mid-air just to see if we can actually get it, but what you can do, fall in here, and if you have fire resistance, then you'll fall in here. It's not as good as water, obviously, but you'll still reduce the fall damage, which is good. So just be a little careful, hold the A, and you'll be okay there. So I'm also gonna try and do with it mid-air with like a splash potion, which this is a very unlikely situation, but to show it's possible, of course, I think would be very neat. So let's go ahead and get a milk bucket. There we go. And I also need full health for this just to be safe. So I will give myself link ring instant health just to be a little safe here. Okay, so cool. We have full health. And so let's say we're falling. So let's just go ahead and try and do this somehow. There we go. There we go. Okay, we're good. So we got out of there. And we placed down the splash potion right away. So if you had a drinking potion, that wouldn't have worked. But because we had this, it worked out just fine. So just something to keep in mind there, of course. So let's, of course, get rid of the fire on ourselves just by doing that. There we go. It's all gone. So let's move on to the next one. That one's kind of a hard one to do and honestly risky. I wouldn't recommend it. But we can also do ender pearl tricks. So let's go ahead and get ourselves ender pearls. So chances are, if you're late game, you'll probably have some spare ender pearls on you. If you've already killed a dragon, you might just carry around some with you. So what you can do, let's say you're falling. I'm gonna get rid of my thing for a second, my fire resistance, because it's actually kind of annoying. So I'll do that for you guys. So there we go. So what we can actually do is we can let's say we're falling, we can throw down an ender pearl as we're falling, and the ender pearl actually throws, I think it goes a little bit faster than a player. So what we can do, if we throw the ender pearl down while we're falling, we'll be able to reduce damage. It's not going to completely not hurt us, but we won't take the damage that we were originally going to take. So let's just go ahead and do it right there. As you can see, we survived the fall damage because the ender pearl landed before we did and cancels your momentum, which is really great there. So pretty easy one to do. You can also do it and throw the ender pearl back up, but honestly, I wouldn't recommend that. That's probably not too smart. You probably just want to throw the ender pearl straight down if you can, but if you can throw it upward and save yourself doing that, then that works as well, which I guess I'll just try it here. So let's say you're doing this. There you go. You can do it, but I didn't land anywhere reasonable, so it didn't work out too well for me, of course. But that's an ender pearl one. If you have spare ender pearls, I'd recommend that one. So next one's a bed. So beds reduce damage slightly. They're not going to save your life in a lot of cases, but let's see if the beds reduce our damage just enough where we'll be able to survive this. So let's see if the bed works first of all, and then we can see if we place a bed down at the same time we're falling. So let's see if it works first of all, because this might be a little bit too high. Ooh, it worked out. Okay. And so what you could actually do with this is you could place down a bed. You probably already figured this out. You could place down a bed as you're falling. And so very simple here. We'll just go ahead and do that. Survival, full health. And so if we drop a bed down as we're falling, like that. Oh, we didn't get it, but we did hit the bed after we died. So you could do it. It's possible. Like this. We'll try it one more time. No, it doesn't. Okay, maybe it doesn't work. But the idea is you can place down a bed and you'll be able to survive because it bounces you up, which is part of the new update, which brought in the woodland mansions and stuff. So that's a recent feature. But anyways, let's move on to the last one here, which this one's probably not the best for survival, just because like the way you get this is not too cheap, and also honestly isn't too consistent. But what we're going to do is we're going to use coarse fruit, which basically, if you don't know, it gives you this teleporting property. So actually I'll give you guys multiple, or I'll give myself multiple to show you guys pretty much what this stuff does. And so when you eat it, it teleports you a little bit. And so this is a little helpful to a certain amount. The problem with it is that it still stores your momentum when you teleport. So if you're falling down very far away and then you teleport, you're still going to die. But if you're high up, let's say you're like half eating it and then you do this, then it's totally fine. You'll be able to do that. So if you're halfway eating it, which honestly that's not a likely situation, then you could do it there. But let's say you're standing above a cliff, you want to go down to the bottom, but you don't have any way of doing that. Let's say you're not falling in this situation. You could do this and you'll be able to eat it and you go right down. No fall damage there. So it's possible to use it as like a very safe method to get down to a bottom of a cliff without using anything else, just eating this thing, which it's a little bit RNG. Sometimes you'll teleport back over here, just walk back over to the cliff, and there you go. See, you'll get it eventually. So very simple. So eventually you can get it just by doing that. It can possibly save your life. I won't quote myself on that, but I mean it could. You could teleport when you're falling and you'll be okay. But in this situation, I hit that, but not too helpful. Yeah, it's really not going to save you from anything like that, but it's still a cool method nonetheless to get down to the bottom. But these are all cool tips and tricks I thought that would help you survive in Minecraft. Hope you guys did enjoy the video, of course. Let me know which one was your favorite down in the comment section below. If you guys want to see more videos like these, let me know in the comment section as well. I'd love to hear it, of course. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. So have a good one. Peace out.